Welcome one and all to the Cine Geeks podcast where movies, TV, and all things geek collide. I'm Roy, joined by, once again, my lovely co-host Angela.
Hello everyone!
Hey Angela. And today we will be talking about a very important topic that affects the Cine Geeks in all of us, whether we know it or not. But we'll get to that in a bit, okay? First off, we would like to take this time to thank our more than 700 and counting Facebook followers that are joining in on the Cine Geek conversation.
Welcome to the Cine Geeks fam.
Yes, welcome one and all. And whether you are commenting or just posting a GIF or even just by reacting, we count that as joining the conversation. So we thank everybody who has taken time from their day to once again interact with us. And we see you, and we'd like you to know that we value every single one of you. So if you're one of those more than 700 plus followers, don't stop joining in on the conversation. And if you still haven't, just go ahead and like our Facebook page. Once again, when you search it on Facebook, it's Cine Geeks Podcast. It's the first one that pops up.
Yes.
Okay? All right. So, mabilis lang yung intro natin ngayon because we want to not take up so much time about getting to our very important subject this episode.
Yes.
And that is regarding the current strike that the Writers Guild of America and the SAG-AFTRA are currently undertaking, currently striking for many, many important reasons.
Yes.
Okay.
Very relevant.
Yes. We know or are aware of how important it is right now. We'd just, like to take you on a quick trip or a quick journey in, knowing why they're striking, who are the ones striking, and who are they striking against. Okay, so we'll begin with the first group, which is the WGA or Writers Guild of America. And Jel, can you please, tell us kung ano yung important points nung pinaglalaban nila?
So their labor dispute mainly centers around their reduced residuals. And of course, they argue their residuals has significantly decreased or reduced in the past years, especially compared to a decade ago.
Okay.
And also they expressed artificial intelligence, of course, with the rise of ChatGPT, should be utilized strictly as assistive tool lang and not replace them in writing and finishing their screenplays or their work. Basically, not to replace them.
Tama. So, kanina sinabi mo tungkol sa yung residuals or yung reduced residuals ba? Can you tell us what residuals are, please?
Okay. So, a little background or explainer on residuals. Residuals are payments made to individuals, mga creators like actors, writers, or musicians kapag ginagamit or nire-reuse yung work nila.
Okay. And in the entertainment industry, ano yung parang context niya?
So, basically, residuals refer to the compensation or yung dinidistribute, nire-rerun, or sinistream yung mga intellectual properties or IP na ginawa nila or part sila ng creative process.
Okay.
So, these payments ensure that the creators receive ongoing compensation for the continued use and success of their work beyond its initial release.
Thank you for explaining that in a very, very concise manner. So, yun yung pinaglalaban ng WGA. Now, the other striking union is the SAG-AFTRA or the Screen Actors Guild, American Federation of Television and Radio Artists. Ngayon, sa kanila naman, yung kanilang pinaglalaban is mainly two things. Yung usage ng kanilang likeness for background actors, specifically with the use of AI. Also, pinaglalaban nila yung residuals, just like what Jel explained earlier. May isa pang point silang mas pinaglalaban, which is self-taping. So, we'll explain that in a bit. Pero the first one is they are against the idea of their likeness being scanned once. Tapos, artificial intelligence will use that scanned image of themselves forever. Magiging ownership na nung mga studios na nag-scan sa kanila yung kanilang likeness in however way na gustong gamitin ng mga studios yon.
In perpetuity.
In perpetuity.
Meaning forever.
That's right. Ngayon, pinaglalaban nilang isa pa, which is self-taping. It's a concept that actually rose in popularity during the pandemic. Kasi nung panahon na yon, syempre si Hollywood, show must go on ang attitude eh. And gusto nila na nakakapag-set up pa rin sila ng mga productions. Obviously, hindi tayo pwede mag-face-to-face nun. So, they made auditions online.
Yes.
Or kung hindi man Zoom auditions, self-taping, which is bibigyan ka ng instructions ng mga casting directors, papanoorin nila lahat yun, and then they'll decide who they want to get.
Yes.
Okay, as compared to the old way, which is
Pila. They go to the casting director's room and then they present in person.
Exactly.
They read their lines and audition, basically yung basic sense of the word audition.
Exactly. That's right. Now, the WGA, they started their strike last May 2, 2023. And the SAG-AFTRA, they just started their strike last Friday, July 14,
Yes.
2023. Now, just trivia, this is the first time na nagkaroon ng sabay na strike ang mga writers and actors since 1960.
63 years ago.
Exactly.
Wow.
That's right. And also, piece of another trivia, hopefully merong mananalo ng 1 million dito kapag sumali kayo ng game show. Kapag tumama kayo, balato kami ha. The president of SAG, Screen Actors Guild pa lang nun, in 1960, when that strike happened, 63 years ago, was Ronald Reagan.
Dear Ronald Reagan.
Yes, future US President. Well, at that time, future US President Ronald Reagan. Siya yung president ng Screen Actors Guild.
Grabe.
Diba? So, alam mo pa lang na noong time na yon may potential na maging politiko. Who are they striking against? Who is forcing them to, keep on doing self-taping, gamitin yung kanilang likeness in perpetuity? Sino yung gustong palitan yung mga writers with AI?
And yung nagmamadamot sa residuals.
Exactly. Well, that would be the AMPTP, which is the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers.
So, sino ba yung mga yon?
These are the movie studios, the TV studios, specifically the streamers. So, sila yung mga...
The usual suspects.
Sino ba yung mga streamers nating mga usual suspects na yan?
Netflix, number 1. Amazon. Apple TV.
Yung mga yan, no?
Max. Or HBO Go. Here in the Philippines.
Yes. Ay, yung Paramount Pictures, which is a movie studio, they also have their own streaming service.
Yes.
Paramount Plus. And of course, Disney Plus. So, the reason why AMPTP or the producers from this point, we'll just call them the producers.
Yeah.
Okay. So the producers are pushing back against the demands of the writers and the actors. They are losing money because of kita nila sa streaming. Hindi daw sila kumikita. Exactly.
Seriously?
Exactly. Na ang sinasabi lang nila na kumikita lang daw na streamer so far, si Netflix lang.
But Netflix is declining.
Yun na nga. Na nakakatawa kasi sasabihin nila na, wow, ang dami na nating subscribers. Sila Disney Plus, sila HBO Go or Max in the States. So,
actually, nasa-saturate na nga yung streaming landscape eh. Nahahati na yung market share ng Netflix kasi sobrang dami ng ibang streaming apps na pumasok.
Diba?
So, how is Netflix still the dominating streamer?
No. Pero, yun na nga nakakatawa kasi doon kasi siya lang yung nauna. Kaya siya yung may first opportunity na kumita ng pera. Pero nung bigla naglabasan yung mga streamers na yan and kung kailan magkaroon sila ng push na mag-ramp up ng subscribers nung pandemic, that was the same time na nagpagawa sila ng sobrang daming mga TV shows, streamer-only movies. Siyempre kasi they assumed na magiging nasa bahay lang yung mga customers nila.
Actually, if our listeners have noticed yung sudden peak ng mga bagong TV shows sa Netflix is because of that. Bigla silang nag-release ng sobrang daming bagong TV shows. Tapos one season naglalast. Ganon. Kasi ito yung nga yung strategy ng mga streamers.
Kasi with new shows, thinking na people will continue to subscribe and pay mga bagong customers, hindi na naiisip na subscriber base nila, yung parehong tao lang.
Yes.
Paikot-ikot lang dun sa lahat ng mga streamers na yun. Tapos sasabihin nila hindi sila kumikita. Hindi din naman maganda yung mga palabas na nilalabas nila. Kasi nga sobrang saturated na.
Also, if you remember that scene in The Good Place, dun sa yogurt store, Parang there are so many yogurt flavors. Tapos parang nagkakaroon ka ng choice paralysis.
Yes. Always happens when we open any streamer. Netflix, Disney+, HBO Go, parang...
There's so many shows to choose from. Hindi ka na makapili.
Tama. And yun ang nakakatawa. Mag-go signal sila ng sobrang daming mga productions, which of course use money. Kasi maraming taong babayaran doon. Thinking na those productions will eventually lead to more people subscribing. Pero yun na nga madaming yogurt flavors na naglalabasan na maraming mga flavors na it's a puwera.
Exactly.
Malaking point na sinasabi about the strike. And you see this online. You see this in the comment sections of many film and TV related pages like Joe Blow, like Collider, and Slash Film. Many people say na parang, why are the rich writers and actors striking? Bakit yung mga Matt Damons of the world and
Brad
Pitts of the world and Robert Downey Jr.'s of the world, bakit sila yung ang lakas-lakas ng boses nila mag-strike hindi ba ang yaman-yaman na nila?
Contrary to popular belief kasi, the actors and the writers nakilala natin is just 2%.
That's right.
2% of the entirety of the writers and actors in the industry.
In the US.
In Hollywood.
Yes.
So, those big names that are joining the strike, they have the voice and they're helping their fellow creatives to fight for the cause. And hindi naman mag-headline yung mga writers na hindi mo kilala yung pangalan Of course, Robert Downey will make headlines. That's why he's using his voice.
Tama.
And also, they have funds for the actors and the writers na currently unemployed ngayon.
Yes.
Yung mga big names na yon, sila yung nagsusupport dun sa mga walang trabaho dahil nga nag-strike sila.
Tama. And ang dami ding mga writers kasi, even actors, yun nga, contrary to popular belief, just to add to what you said. As Filipinos kasi, ang preconception natin sa mga shows and movies. Pero in honesty, you would be surprised to find out na itong mga majority ng mga writers and actors in Hollywood are just like you and me. Na mga regular Joes and regular gals and regular in-betweens ba? Kung ganon.
Sila yung mga naglalakad sa likod ng mga artista kapag nasa scene na nasa kalsada o kaya yung ibang diner sa mga restaurant scenes,
yung
ganon.
Yung mga background actors ba? Yun.
Yes, they are the background actors or siguro mas more kilala natin sila sa tawag na extra.
No, yun yung tawag noon.
Dati.
And sa writers naman, sige, I don't know if you know yung mga Ryan Murphys and yung mga Shonda Rhimes. Ba? Sila yung mga nagsusulat ng mga favorite shows natin like yung American Horror Story or for Shonda Rhimes, yung Grey's Anatomy. Yes. And if you would look under the hood, kumbaga, itong mga production na to, madaming mga writer dyan na yung mga hindi kilala.
And even they have a team of writers.
Diba?
Yun yung mga nagsastrike. Yun yung mga hindi nakakakuha ng residuals. Sila yung mga hindi na bibigyan ng opportunities to grow kasi nga one of the things din na pinaglalaban ng Writers Guild is yung mini writers room na sobrang na-reduce na yung number of writers in any given show. So Roy, can you tell us a bit of an explainer about the concept of a mini writers room?
Okay. So mini writers room or mini rooms, so to speak, are groups of writers hired by networks or the streamers, Netflix, etc. Kukuha sila ng isa, dalawa na mga writer hanggang 4, 5, iba ganun for a show. Ngayon, kung magugustuhan nila yung palabas na yon na binigay ng mga writer, i-greenlight nila yon or bibigyan nila ng go signal. Pero, ang problema doon, hindi kasama doon sa magiging staff ng show na yon yung mga nasa mini room. So, kumbaga, yung mini room, parang nagiging factory lang sila ng ideas.
Okay.
Ng mga studios, etc. And right now, hindi kasi binabayaran ng katulad ng regular writer, yung mga mini room writers.
Okay.
Yun din yung isa sa mga bagay na pinaglalaban ng Writers Guild of America ngayon. Okay. Ngayon, it's also very important to know na at the core of all of this, yung the majority of the nameless writers in Hollywood,
yes,
na hindi yung mga big names, primary job nila itong writing. Of course, the same way na when you were still regularly a singer,
yes,
years ago, na because you love your craft, you love your art, you made a living of it for a very, very long time.
Yes, I did.
Yes, and I don't hope to speak for you, pero I would assume na you felt very fortunate na you were able to carve out a living as a singer nung mga panahon na yon.
Yes.
Diba?
Yes.
And the biggest thing about that is you were given the opportunity to be able to rise above kung ano yung kanilang level ngayon. Kasi nga din, hindi sila nababayaran ng tama. Yung mga iba, hindi na-recognize ng tama. And yung iba, gusto pang palitan ng AI altogether.
And let me just add this one more thing.
Go.
All the TV shows right now are so shortened. They have very, very few episodes.
Yun pa.
Compared to a decade ago na typically 20 to 22 episodes per season, diba? Or even more.
Tama.
Sa mga sitcoms, sometimes 24.
Mm.
Pero ngayon, mahaba na yung 12 episodes per season.
Hindi ka na nga nakakita ng 12 Kasi kapag usually sanay ka sa show, 10 episodes lang.
And add to that the length of every season.
Yes.
So every season, more episodes mean more work. The longer the writers can continue working on a specific show if the episodes run for 24 weeks. And they are employed for 6 months guaranteed.
Or
at
however
long the season is.
Exactly. Tama.
Pero at least, comparing to now, they worked on a show longer. Kasi ngayon, 8 weeks, 8 episodes.
Minsan nga, 4 episodes kung mini-series pa.
3 episodes lang.
Diba? Yung mga ganun.
And then they're unemployed again after that.
Yun yung hindi ma-grasp ngayon siguro nung mga producers na the people who are creating content for them every so often, nakaasa lang din dun sa kinikita nila mula dun sa mga number of episodes na ginagawa nila. And sometimes it's not enough. Of course, quality of life is going up. Yung presyo, everybody's paying for inflation, ganyan.
Inflation is real.
Exactly. And these writers, also the actors, are being paid rates that were negotiated years ago pa. So, bakit hindi sila pwedeng makakuha ng piece of the pie na palaki ng palaki yung presyo dahil tinataasan din ng mga mga streamers yung monthly subscription price nila.
Yes, that's true.
Tumataas yung presyo ng ticket sa sinihan. 'Di ba? Bakit hindi pwedeng makakuha ng part doon yung mga pinakatao that make all of this happen?
True. They wouldn't even have anything to show kung wala tong mga taong to.
Kung wala yung mga writers, wala yung mga actors, especially the background actors. Diba?
Yes.
A scene won't feel as epic if there weren't any background actors. The best example that comes to mind for me is, I don't know if you remember in The Dark Knight Rises, yung part na yung pinasabog ni Bane, yung football stadium.
Yeah. I
Diba?
remember that part.
That the whole stadium itself was filled with background actors. And I think I can safely say na that's a good example kasi Christopher Nolan absolutely does not like to use CGI in his films. As much as possible, talagang lahat practical. And so, yung lahat ng mga fans in the stands, dun sa scene na yun, are all actual people. And they're all in the scene to make it feel more epic. Diba? So isipin nyo yung mga movies na paborito nyo that give you that feeling na wow, this is so epic. Malamang sa malamang yung scene na yan was made more epic thanks to the many background actors that were hired for the scene.
Hindi lang yun, it really makes the scale real.
True.
Especially kapag ka na-realize mo katulad sa mga ibang mga TV shows or movies na it doesn't feel as epic.
Oo.
Parang tinipid.
Lalo na sa panahon ngayon na medyo hindi na ganun kapulido yung mga special effects na lumalabas.
Mapapansin mo pa na replicated.
True.
Yung crowd, 'di ba? Parang 2 beses mong makikita sa isang scene yung same person.
Best example that comes to mind, as much as I love the show, is Ted Lasso.
Yes.
Lalo na kapag andun sila sa Wembley, lagi. Kapag doon sila sa big stadium maglalaro. Ang 'di ba? Parang
you feel cheated.
Exactly. You still like the story. And yun na nga, sige, we can actually relate that. Sige, combine natin yun. Yung story itself was made by writers.
Yes.
So, feels na epic. Pero, Ted Lasso, you love the writing.
Yes.
Pero bakit dun sa actor side, tinipid naman nila? Diba? To that point pa nga, ginagawa na nga nila, gustong gawing industry standard yung ginagawa dun sa show na yun.
Parang scanning the likeness of the background actors and then using it and replicate it in a scene para makatipid.
Diba? Para,
Apple TV magtitipid?
diba? A $1 trillion company. Trillion na with a T.
Yes.
$1 trillion company nagtitipid sa background actors. Ano ba naman yung babayaran mo ng, sabihin natin, papabalikin mo ng 5 araw yung mga background actors? Bayaran mo $300.
They're also generating jobs. They're helping these workers earn a living, diba?
Exactly. Parang ano ba naman yun sa $1 trillion na company value nyo? Mamumulubi ba kayo kung babayaran nyo ng tama yung mga tao?
Yes. That reminds me of Fran Drescher's very impassioned speech about that.
Please. If you have the time, please search for her speech. So, para dun sa mga mas kaidaran natin.
Naabutan ko pa to eh.
Our
hindi ko na siya naabutan.
peers.
Batang-bata pa ako noon.
Lumalabas siya sa Studio 23. Yes. Fran Drescher is currently the president of SAG-AFTRA or yung side ng mga actors. And she is famous for being the nanny. So if you still caught that late 90s, early 2000s.
Masakit na likod mo.
Either may rayuma ka na, masakit na yung likod mo, gumigising ka na sa madaling araw just to go to the CR, or tadawa na yung anak mo.
Or may katingko ka lagi sa bag.
Or all of the above. Yun. Pero siya na yung leader ng mga actors. And please take 6 minutes of your day just to watch her speech nung nag-announce na sila na magsa-strike na sila. Because it's one of the most powerful speeches about the importance of
labor
unions and laborers in general.
Yes.
Not just in the States, pero around the world. Yan. Just take our word for it. And of course, we would be remiss if we didn't talk about kung ano yung mga naapektuhan. Kasi, and kailangan palang i-mention natin, important to, na as long as they are striking, hindi sila pwedeng magtrabaho. Yung mga actors and writers from the WGA and the SAG-AFTRA. So, that means that nobody can cross the picket line or walang pwedeng trabaho.
Pumasok sa trabaho
hanggang hindi nakukuha ng mga unions kung ano yung pinaglalaban nila. Now, yung mga productions na yan in Hollywood, marami nang naapektuhan eh. Kasi marami nang mga nagsushooting, marami nang nagpe-pre-production.
Yes.
Maraming mga in-idea stage pa lang. Pero since walang writers nga, hindi maituloy.
Halted lahat.
Exactly. Some productions come to mind are the Mission Impossible movie, yung
Dead Reckoning
Part 2. Ginagawa na siya dapat, sinusulat na siya dapat. Or if I'm not mistaken, nagsushooting na nga din sila dapat eh. Tapos, Deadpool 3. Yan, Deadpool 3.
They just released their still photos, diba?
Kaka-release lang ng picture na naka-classic costume na si Wolverine. Finally. Pero just a bit of side note ba kay Deadpool 3. Kasi, di ba, Deadpool, the movie, is very, very famous for being an ad-lib fest dahil kay Ryan Reynolds.
Yes.
Gusto niyang mag-improv. Ngayon, nung nag-strike nung May 2, yung writers, pinayagan silang mag-continue na mag-shoot. Kasi hindi pa nagsa-strike yung mga actors nun. Ang problema,
no writers na.
No writers, meaning hindi pwedeng mag-act si Ryan Reynolds as a writer in the movie. Kasi technically, kapag nag-i-improv siya,
he's writing it
as well.
He'll be credited as a writer.
Exactly. From May 2 hanggang nag-strike sila noong July 14, sinusunod ni Ryan Reynolds yung script. Verbatim. So, I would imagine kung gaano siya nangangati.
Yung X-Men Origins Wolverine, parang siyang nakasara yung bibig niya.
That's a very appropriate metaphor. And actually, if you didn't know, X-Men Origins Wolverine, the reason why it was so bad, kasi it also suffered because of the last strike back in 2007.
Here we go again.
Exactly.
Siguro sabi ni Ryan Reynolds.
Si Deadpool na naman ang victim.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Sana kapag natapos ng strike na to, i-write in nyo dun sa scene na parang, oh my God.
I won't be surprised.
The first strike, I was silenced. And now this next strike,
I'm being silenced again.
What the fuck? Ako na naman.
Bakit ba ako na naman palagi?
Hindi magkakaroon ng Deadpool na maayos at maganda kung hindi nagkanda leche-leche yung Deadpool ng 2007.
Grabe.
Sa X-Men Origins Wolverine. And now it's happening again.
And also, just because you touched upon the last writer's strike, no? Just imagine the aftermath of that. So this is what we're looking at the next 2 years siguro.
Wag
naman sana, pero this is what happened in the last writer's strike.
Okay, sige. So just a bit of background. Yung mga writers lang ang nag-strike 16 years ago in 2007.
16 years ago na ba yun?
That was 16 years ago.
Why does it feel like 10 years ago lang?
Oh my God. Let's not talk about years and age. Fast forward. Okay, so 2007. ang pinaglalaban ng mga writers nun, it was still money.
Residuals
pa rin. That time, sobrang may new technology nung panahon na yon na ang pangalan DVD. Sobrang cutting edge technology.
Ooh, scary.
Napaka-scary. DVD, oh my God.
Technology.
Exactly. And on online streaming, new technology pa siya nun.
And yung Netflix, mini-mail pa.
Diba? Yung nung panahon na yon. So, back then, the writers, they wanted to get correct residuals for DVD sales of their movies and TV shows.
Yeah.
That strike went on for months. Nag-carry over pa nga siya from 2007 hanggang 2008. And just going back to what you were saying, maraming mga shows na naapektuhan.
Some of the fatalities were...
So, this still hurts up to this day. Okay? I don't know if our audience has watched this. Siguro if you want to watch it, just watch the first season and then panoorin nyo yung season 2 para makita kung gaano ka na-butcher talaga siya because of the strike. There was this little show called Heroes. Okay.
Ang ganda nun.
Season 1 of Heroes. Pwede mo siyang ikumpara sa Breaking Bad, sa Game of Thrones, kung gaano siya kaganda. Basically speaking, Heroes was about a group of people who found out that they were superheroes. And they had to come together for this common goal that if they didn't do it, the world would end. And doon ang galing yung iconic na line na
Save the cheerleader, save the world.
yes.
Oh. Sad nun.
Parang nagkaroon ako ng parang
PTSD, no?
Oo. And
alam mo kung ano pang isang show na nag-suffer dahil dun sa writer strike? Lost.
Oo. Yung ending niya, hindi natapos na maganda.
Parang right in the middle of the run. Season 4? Season 4 yata siya.
Sorry, season 4. Tama yung gitna. Yung gitnang part.
Yung gitnang part kung saan pinaka-pivotal. If I remember it correctly.
Yes. Yung alam ko yun na yung part na kung kailan nire-reveal na yung Dharma Initiative. Sorry, spoilers for a 12-year-old show na tapos na. Pero yun, nire-reveal na yung secrets ng island. And then, nawala bigla yung mga writers. So, wala.
Nag-suffer talaga siya. Prison Break as well.
Yun. I don't know if you saw Pushing Daisies. Yan. Terminator, The Sarah Connor Chronicles.
Yes, that's one. Isa din yan.
Daming mga shows. Basta, ang daming mga nag-suffer na productions.
Yung Transformers.
Over to the movie side, yes.
Movie side naman.
Transformers, Revenge of the Fallen was a clusterfuck just because the writers weren't able to fix the movie.
And, of course.
Parang first draft yung pinasa nila doon sa ginawang sine. Tapos si Michael Bay ang nag-end na magsulat nung sine.
One more movie. James Bond. Quantum of Solace.
Yes. The movie that forced Daniel Craig to be a writer.
He hated every moment of it.
After nung Casino Royale na sobrang ganda, ang Solace in the middle of a strike. And wala silang writer.
No rewrites,
hindi pwede. So, sila yung nag-isip kung anong gagawin nila.
This is the importance of writers during rewrites.
Exactly.
And they have to be in the production kapag may kailangang i-rewrite na ganyan.
Diba? Isipin mo, kung sa sinasabi ng mga producers na the last strike around. And sorry, we forgot, again, we were mentioning earlier, X-Men Origins Wolverine. Yan. 2007 strike. So, madami. Hindi mo ma-ignore yung impact ng mga writers dun sa creative process. Now, how does this affect us? As, well, primarily, we are recording this as Filipino movie and TV fans. Cinegeeks, if you will. How do you think this would affect us? May immediate impact ba tayo mararamdaman? Or slow or gradual ba siya?
I believe it would be gradual. We won't feel it immediately. Siguro sometime next year. Kasi most productions now na dapat nag-start na ngayon are supposed to be released next year.
Tama.
So dahil hindi yun,
or hindi
mapupushback yung start ng production. Hence, pati post-production. Tapos yung marketing pa.
Tapos yung release date eventually mapupush. Tama.
Exactly. And that also goes to our favorite TV shows sa lahat ng streaming. All across the board. So lahat yon delayed. We will have to make do with the existing content now na halos lahat discontinued din kasi nga walang bagong seasons yung mga TV shows.
Tama.
And as far as Philippine theaters are concerned, we don't have much Filipino movies every month na napoproduce. So what will they show in the theaters kapag ka hindi MMFF?
Yun na nga eh. Feeling ko mararamdaman natin to. Sabihin natin mga February onwards. Kasi may mga naka-slate na eh for January eh. Alam ko lumabas na yung trailer ng Wonka. The Willy Wonka prequel. Already announced for January 8. So, wag ka. Nabakuro na agad ni MMFF. Yung December 25 hanggang January 7. Talagang set in stone na yon. Anytime may Christmas movie sa States, next year na siya lalabas agad.
Okay, pero covered yan hanggang February lang.
Yun na nga.
What happens the next months? Sure, meron tayong MMFF summer. 'Di ba? Pero those are just pakonti-konti lang yun eh. Can Philippine movies fill the theater slates?
And of course, not to put down the local film industry. Pero the majority, okay, I'm not saying everything. There are a few Filipino films that have surpassed my expectations. For the other films. It is a fact na we are still in the process. Sige, I'm going to try to word this as delicately as I can. We are in the process of improving our local industry's quality. And nagigets ko na yung parang paano tayo aasa na yung local film industry natin ang papalit doon sa mawawalang mga foreign films na sanay na tayo makakuha ng sabihin natin, ayoko sabihin na parang high quality kasi hindi naman lahat maganda eh.
True.
Na nai-instill na sa atin.
Yes.
Because of these foreign films. Na at the moment, I am not confident that our film industry locally can still meet. Now, I'm not saying na hindi na sila mag-i-improve. Kasi the only thing I want to see is our local film industry, soar higher and higher and improve to greater heights. Pero at the moment, yun na nga, unless I am proven wrong, and I hope I am, yun lang. Yun naman yung parang, apprehension ko when it comes to local films.
Well, maybe this is their chance.
Hopefully. Please.
This is their chance to really make the moment count na wala silang competition sa foreign film industry na papasok dito for a time because of the repercussions nga of the double strike. So I hope that they make it count and to take this opportunity talaga.
That's right.
To produce high quality and content na hindi cliche, na hindi passe, and hindi puro tropes, Filipino tropes na I've seen some great Filipino movies made na hindi kailangang gumaya sa style ng iba or i-remake yung konseptong iba, original, and very impactful. I just hope to see one or two of those kinds of movies na talagang would take my breath away.
We have faith in our local industry naman. Of course, sige.
To step up.
We want it to step up. We want our apprehensions to be, proven wrong. We want to see talagang
we can level at least.
Or even surpass.
Oo.
Alam mo, ito sa akin kahit man lang gawin nating bar, yung mga Korean lang na mga
huwag mong nilalang yung mga Korean, magaganda yun.
Exactly, yun na nga eh. If we would try to use the Korean film industry as a bar to surpass first.
Yes.
Diba? Yung in terms of yung variety of projects, in terms of how it is shot, written, diba? Yung
production value.
There are so many Filipino films made recently that I love. Okay? I will go on record and say na I absolutely love ibang taon yun, the classic by Sarah Geronimo and John Lloyd Cruz. A Very Special Love. See? Rom-com. Pero there was something about it that was so well made that it still holds up many, many years later. Hindi siya derivative noon. To a degree. It tried to do something new. You felt how earnest and heartfelt it was. And of course,
the story was quite simple.
Diba? Pero yung execution niya yung sobrang simple lang niya, yet sobrang niyang effective. Also, if you want to go the other way, General Luna. That I will give 100% props to. Ibang klase talaga yun. Doon ako una nakapanood ng Filipino film coming out of the theater saying na, shit, nakagawa tayo ng Hollywood level na sine.
Oo.
Diba?
Well, one of my favorites naman, Honor Thy Father.
Yeah. Diba? Isa pa yun. Siya naman yung nasa other side ng spectrum from General Luna. General Luna was all about production value. Honor Thy Father was very bare bones. Pero yung writing niya
yes.
Grabe yung
Chef's
writing
kiss.
ng Chef's Kiss, ibang klase. And of course, kasi directed din siya nung isa sa mga pinakamagagaling na Filipino directors ever. Eric Mati.
Yes.
Of course, Eric Mati. OTJ.
OTJ.
Oh my God. Yun, isa pa yun. Diba? Yung nakakagawa tayo eh. Nakakagawa tayo.
Maybe we'll see more of that. Hopefully.
I do hope so. I think that's the biggest takeaway that we can get from this, na things in Hollywood are not so good. Maybe this is the time that our local industry
can step up.
Step up. As in talagang all caps, step up. Talagang we are waiting with bated breath.
Yes.
Na sana talagang we come up with classics talaga. Diba? Do you have anything to add to this? Yan?
Wala naman na.
Yeah.
Only I hope they get to a fair and agreeable outcome.
True. Kasi we have to also remember na at the center of all of this are human beings that are working for a living, struggling. There are stories of writers and working actors working 2, 3, 4 jobs just to
provide for their
family. And also hoping to fulfill their dreams of creativity. Diba? So, we wish the writers and the actors fighting for their fair share. We wish them the best of luck in this. Yan.
Yes.
Yan. Yun lang naman. So, with that, we wrap up this very, hopefully, insightful episode of the Cine Geeks podcast.
Thank you for joining us.
And if you have your opinions about the strike, please don't hesitate to leave us a comment on our Facebook page.
Please join the conversation.
Oh, yes, please. We want this to be a very vibrant conversation. Back and forth tayo. So, with that in mind, dito na kami magpapaalam. We're gonna say goodbye for now. So, for my lovely co-host Angela, again, this is Roy, and this has been the Cine Geek Podcast, where movies, TV, and all things geek collide.